Hi friends, I shall be talking to you about one very mysterious phenomena called Gulik in astrology. We have already gone through all the seven planets and Rahu and Ketu, so we have covered the entire nine planets, the gamut of nine planets, out of which the last two are basically shadow planets because they are shadows anyway, and that is made clear by Varaha Mihira in his Brahjataka. But now we come to something which is less used, let us. Yeah, we can say that they are not used often in astrology and mostly misunderstood, and that is Gulika. This Gulika is also called Mandi. Gulika and Mandi is one and the same, is what Parasharapura says. But Sarvartha Chintamani and Prashnamarga have given a different method of calculating that point, or Mandi as they call it. And so there is always a confusion whether these are two planets or these are one planets, and then some astrologers say there were two sons of Saturn, because Mandi by itself means son of Manda. Manda is the name of Saturn. So it's not very difficult to understand. Gulika is the shape, as a matter of fact. Gulika also means something else which I will tell when we describe Gulika. And so what is the difference between the two? First thing, Gulika is calculated according to Parashara. You divide the span of entire day by 8. On Sunday, this seventh part belongs to Saturn. So on that day, count from the Lord of the day, that is the weekday planet, and the seventh part belongs to Saturn, which also is the part of Gulika. The eighth part is supposed to have no ruler, though in certain texts Rahu is said to be the ruler of the eighth part. Let us forget that. So Gulika, absolutely. Then in the night time, again you divide. I mean, always the day is, whenever we say day in astrology, especially Vedic astrology, it begins from sunrise, ends at sunset, and the night begins from sunset and ends at sunrise. And so you, in the night time, if the birth is night time, then what you do is you calculate that span of night, that is sunset to sunrise. Start from the whatever is the weekday, start from the fifth Lord of the fifth day from that. So if it is say Sunday, then you start from Guru, Jupiter, and go on the regular order. You come to the third would be Saturn's part, and which will be Gulika part, which is already also called Gulika Kala, the time of Gulika. Eighth is always blank, and then other planets. Okay. In Murta Shastra, it is also called Gulika. So why I am talking about Gulika, I will explain later. As far as one way of calculating Mandi, which is given by Sarvartha Chintamani and Prashnamarga, is you take a standard day length or night length as 30 ghati. One ghati is about 24 minutes, so 5 ghatis makes a Rashi, and so on, which is not very difficult to understand. 2.5 ghatis will make an hour. And then what you do is, on Sunday it falls on the 26th ghati from sunrise. On Monday it will fall, you deduct 4 from it, so it will be 22nd, and so on. On Saturday it is 2 ghatis past sunrise. So this is very clear, which means every planet is given about 4 ghatis as their period. Done. In the night time, again you go to the same place, the fifth, and the fifth you will find from sun will always have 10 ghatis. So then 4 less is 6, and then 2, and then you go on like that. So the difference is, whereas in Gulik calculation the day length varies according to the latitude you are, because higher you go, day is of a lesser duration. In summer, daytime is larger, whereas night time is shorter. In winter, vice versa, and so this is a variable point, which is Gulika Kala. Now another assumption by many is because Ravivaradi Shadnyanta Paryanta is the shloka in Parashari. They feel that the entire period is Gulika Kala. Yeah, they are right, but then as Parashara goes ahead, he tells that Gulika Ishta is to be calculated from Gulika Lagna, that is the joining point, which means exactly beginning of Saturn's part, that is the Sphuta, that is what is said in the Parashara. So that Sphuta is to be calculated, that is where Gulika is said to rise. So this is the point of Gulika. Now if we look at it, we see that on Sunday, Saturn, the Mandi, according to Sarvasa Chintamani and Prashnamarga, is at 2 ghatis, which means, 7 4s are 28, he is at 2 ghatis, starts from 26, which means it is actually the mid portion of all those 4 parts, which are 4 ghatis, which are given to every planet by the calculation of those who calculate Mandi in that fashion. Of course, some say that according to longitude and according to day length, that standard 30 ghati is to be proportionately reduced. But still the point remains that in winters nights will be shorter. But this I leave to the knowledgeable of astrology, who would be better able to comment on that, or those who use it in predictions. I personally don't use it. I use it sometimes. I'll tell you about it later. Then, every planet is given a description. Of course, Gulik is not a planet. You can understand it is a tile, like Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu at least express themselves when eclipse comes. You can see Rahu and Ketu, which are nothing but sun, moon and earth, so our mind and we ourselves, or the confusion in our mind, that is what is Rahu and Ketu all about. But here, this is basically based on time. That is why it is also called Aprakasha Graha. The grahas which do not shine, which means which cannot be seen ever. Rahu and Ketu can be seen at the time of eclipse, at least these can never be seen. So these are Aprakasha. There are other like Dhuma, Mrityu, Kala and Yamatantaka and so on. We are not going into that. So there is always a description. So what is the description? They say Ajayata Shane Suto Rudira Bindutaha. This Gulik is son of Saturn. He looks like drop of a blood. Then he says Shamal. He is dark. Goes on to say that he is Vishadhara Kruti, which means he looks like a snake. He has voice like a thunderbolt. His glance is cruel, and he is capable of destroying everything. This is the general definition. Variation of this shloka will appear everywhere in text, but on this point there is a consensus. Okay. Now, what am I talking about? Kulik. Because Kulik, the word Kulik appears only in Muhurta Shastra. But Kulik in Sanskrit, there is nothing like Gulik in Sanskrit. Gulika is called to a pill. Ayurvedic pills are generally called as X-Gulik, Y-Gulik and so on, because it is like a seed. So Guligan, many people, it means seed, but many people think that it is a seed of a particular, fruit or root or whatever, but it is not. So it is a seed, a tablet form, but not tablet as in the modern times, tablets of the Ayurveda type, which are almost round in shape, a bit irregular. But Kulika also means one of the 8 main serpents which are called the Nagas. Naga is also, we have to understand, one of the tribes in northern part of India. And Naga also means snake. So that Vishadhara becomes very easy to understand. And he is one of the Nagas who can destroy everybody and all that. Anybody can refer to the Sanskrit dictionary, find out what Kulik means. I will not go much into that. But maybe that is where that Vishadhara Kruti might have come, or vice versa, because he maybe introduces poison, as we will see when we talk ahead of it. That could be one of the reasons, because as I have always been, I am rather fond of saying that in ancient sages did never use anything for no reason. There was always a reason for something. They knew that these planets are physical bodies, masses, or these are imaginary points, the shadow graha who come only at the time of eclipse, which is explained by Varahamihira very plainly in his Brahat Samhita for somebody who wants to read it properly. And then why aprakasha graha? Because they don't shine, which indicates some distance from sun is what is generally recognized. Some points of distance from sun is always called as aprakasha graha, like Dhuma, Pata and other things. So the one of the opinion is that when with Saturn he is extremely malefic. When with Jupiter he is benefic. Some say no, when he is with Jupiter he is benefic, but Jupiter becomes like a mad elephant. Now this is something very contradictory, because if they are going to be together, whatever the result they are going to give will apply to that bhava and all that. Then I'll go a bit further into that and see if this does fit in when you go in. I'm telling about Gulika specifically so that the younger generation and even older generation goes into depth of it, finds out the logic behind what is being said and why it is being said, and does it actually occur on ground when we analyze the chart. If it doesn't, like Kamlakar said, even Muni's saying can be rejected in astrology, because this is a Pratyaksha Shastra, a science which actually happens when we predict something has to happen on ground. So let us have no confusion about it. There is a tendency of connecting it to some complex religious things or something, but let us be certain that this is a science, a divine science, because it can be used in a divine manner to help the distressed. So as I was saying, now if there is a Prakash Graha, it must have some exaltation Rashi. So Gulika is supposed to get exalted in Aries and Sagittarius, in the Rashi of Mars and in the Rashi of, rather the Mool Trikona Rashi of Mars and Jupiter. So he is being much more friendly to Jupiter maybe, right? Then Virgo and Capricorn are supposed to be his own houses. Cancer and Scorpio are his friends. Aquarius, Leo and Taurus are enemy Rashis for Gulika. Now I have said all this. We have seen the exaltation, we have seen own Rashi, we have seen the friends, we have seen the enemies. What about the Rashi of debility? Now here something interesting happens. See, what is being told is Libra is its Rashi of debility. Now we see two friends, two own houses, two houses of exaltation, but only one house of debility. Why? I am not sure. Maybe I have an inkling, but I would like all the learned to go into depth of it and find out for themselves, and also let others know, as I am telling whatever I know to the astrological fraternity. I would expect everybody else to do that. I may be wrong, but yeah, that is how it is. But then there is another shloka which says about Yutikshana Navamshaka Shanestvadika Do, which means if he occupies or aspects Navamshaka, that is Lord of Navamshaka, if it is Saturn and if it is aspected by Gulika or Madhya, then he is extremely harmful. Okay, so he has to be with Saturn, he has to own the Navamsha, perhaps of the Rashi or the Bhava in which it is, or the Lord of the Bhava in which it is, I mean the Bhava which he is occupying, maybe the Lord must fall in the Navamsha of Saturn for him to be extremely poisonous. And in case of Guru, you say Guru so Viparita. In case such a Navamshaka, that is Navamsha Lord, is Guru, then the results are reverse. How reverse? Gare Amrutovada. Yatha. So Gare means poison and Amrutovada means like, as poison becomes like nectar, that is how the reverse effect is given by Gulika. If it is aspecting or together with a Navamshaka, naturally Navamsha Lord, of the Lord of the house that he is occupying, then he becomes very benefic. Now, having understood that, what is this Yuti we understand is conjunction. So what is Ikshana? Ikshana means aspect. Yeah. For that it is said that with he is imagined with 3 eyes. And so what is said is, with his right eye he looks on the 2nd house, with his left eye he looks on the 12th house, and with his eye in the center he looks on the 7th house. So this is what is given, what is available in various texts, including Gulikotpatti and Phaladipika, Jatak Parijat, Prashna Marga, Sarvartha Chintamani, Bratparashar Hora Shastra, and many more. There might be many more which I even don't know. Perhaps Horasar also, I remember that there is something, but I am not very sure about it. So, and I am very frank about talking. So this is Mandi, this is Gulika. Most of the sages agree that in 3, 6 and 11 he is extremely good. Also in the 10th, so perhaps because they are Upachaya Bhavas. But if I remember right, Phaladipika says that in the 6th he causes diseases and other things. So even there is not a commonality of opinion. My experience is, because I was thinking about it, I thought, why Gara and why Vishadhara, that is Naga, the snake who induces poison. So what I found was that generally when Gulika is in some place, he tends to gradually erode one part of that Bhava. It can be anything, depending on other planets, whether he is with Guru as the Navamsha Lord of the house he occupies, and so on. And that is a sort of subject for research for astrologers. The modern astrologers are very intelligent. Youngsters are there, most of them are engineers, they are used to the statistics and various sciences, good at mathematics, much better than me. And also I have only few years left. I am already 72. All of you have got much more time left to go into the depth of this and understand it and let others know. So this is Gulika. My experience I have already told. One thing which I must make astrologers and the researchers aware of is, don't jump to the conclusion because you see Gulika in X Bhava or Y Bhava behaving in a particular fashion, maybe in 1 or 2 or 3 or even 5 or 10, maybe even 50 charts. Don't jump to conclusion. Be sure whether any of the regular planets that we use are aspecting or occupying that bhava, or Lord of that bhava posited somewhere, and that is the reason for the result to ensue. Because most of the time what happens is, what I have seen is, many a times people tend to jump to conclusions, or from 5 or 10 or 15 charts they decide that this rule is the perfect rule, and when they approach a real life chart sometime afterwards in his own life or her own life, or their students' life, then they get confused because those results are not coming through. So let them be, there be many charts, or if there are only two charts you want to analyze, then look at them from all points of view. Whether Saturn is doing something, whether Jupiter is doing something, whether Mars is doing something, whether position of X Lord in Y house is doing something. Because otherwise these rules are more, flights of fancy. I have seen many rules in my life coming through right from when I was young. So many astrologers came with new techniques, new methods, but then later on everybody turns back to the old one when they are actually analyzing. Rest of the time, many methods are taught. So I would enjoin upon all my young friends and the old ones. Of course, they know, so I am not talking about the old ones, they are already aware of this. So to check like this, go ahead, make this Gulick known to others. It is important because if I remember right, Dr. B.V. Raman used to use Mandi in his predictions and with a great deal of success. He was called the modern day Varahamir. He also used less parameters, but let us not just say that he was okay. No, he was not okay. He was great. Because of him we are reading Sanskrit text in English, rather because of his grandfather, but he continued that tradition. I think his daughter is doing it even now. One of his son is also doing it. And so with all my respect to every astrologer, I am coming to the end of this lecture. It has run a bit for a bit longer time than I expected it would, because I have been trying to, as you can see, the green is reflecting in my specs, so I am trying to adjust my head so that that reflection doesn't appear to you as far as possible, but it does still come. And as usual, I would like you to give your comments, positive or negative. I welcome it. I learn from all that, and as it is said, it is never too late to learn. And I am still a student of astrology. I have been for about, I don't know how many, maybe 62, 63, 64 years. And I think I have imbibed at least 5 to 10% of the knowledge that is there in astrology. So my friends, this is the last of the lectures in the series on Graha. After this we will look at Rashis. I have deliberately done it. For me the most important is Bhava, followed by Graha, then Rashis. It is not that Rashis are any less important. They have their own importance. But in analysis, I find Bhavas and Bhava Lords playing a bigger role than anything else. So my friends, I take your leave and good night.